Hello from the Nova Rock. This is the Nova Rock podcast with Cil City and with Fit for a King. So welcome to Austria.
Hey, how are you?
So is it your first time in Austria?
No, we've played Austria a decent amount, mainly Antwerp.
Yeah.
I'd say almost every time is Antwerp, basically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Have you also played the Nova Rock yet? Or
this is our first time even doing like any of these European festivals, so it's cool.
Okay,
it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you had the chance to go to Vienna or something like that? Or
we played Vienna. It's always Antwerp and Vienna. Those are the two cities we always play.
Okay, perfect. So how do you like Vienna?
Vienna is beautiful. Like I love walking around there.
One of my favorite European cities.
I have to agree. Going to the first district, even if I'm living in Vienna, it's like being a tourist in a perfect city. Yeah, I really enjoy that.
I remember it was like our first time here. It was like 2015, and I went to Vapiano and thought it was the best thing I've ever had.
Pizza or pasta?
I know, yeah.
Pizza or pasta? What do you prefer? Pizza?
Oh.
I'll always get pasta. I always get the pasta.
If it's like a white wine pasta, I think there's more variation to pasta.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
So you've been busy touring, and I think you've got lots of shows ahead. So how is it going so far?
It's going really good. We do have a lot of shows. We basically go from this European festivals and shows to America immediately to start a tour with I Prevail and Hailstorm.
Bam, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
it is really cool. It is. But yeah, we got 2.5 months straight of shows. So
we don't stop till August 16th.
Wow, that's a lot. And that includes America, or is it just Europe?
It's basically half Europe, half America.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when's your next time when you're at home?
August 17th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pretty much until the new year after that. We're just going to work on a new record and hang out. We go play like a show in Mexico, go on a little vacation time with fam, and nothing too crazy. It's like our summer is in the fall this year, kind of.
How about, maybe a personal question, how about post-tour depression? How is it when you come home mid of August, having 2 months of heavy touring on your back?
I'd say it feels great right now. Like after 2 months, we'll feel great being home for a little bit. Yeah, I'd say after a month or two at home, I start getting antsy of like, I feel like everybody's forgetting about us and we have to go tour some more. So it's like, it's different when we're in the studio and stuff, but when we're just home, I'm like, I feel like we should be writing or doing something right now. But
and you still know how to cook a meal or to feed the cat or something like that.
Oh,
There's nothing like.
I have to relearn.
I'd say the hardest thing for me is getting home and like I have to remember the kids' schedule so I can get them placed because my wife has been doing it.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like, oh, by the way, there's a doctor's appointment at this time and therapy's at this time, and then you need to be. And I'm like, oh my god, I just got home from tour.
Yeah, like I'll have the first week when we get back is a little weird. I kind of just go in my office space and just stare at the wall for a week, answer some emails and play with my magic cards. And then I start to become like more social and stuff. But in general, I think we tour so much that when we get home, we're very relieved. But yeah, about a month or two after, you're like, okay, I missed the guys. I'm ready to go play some shows and stuff. So, you know, it'll be an interesting experience having a longer break for us, but I'm excited about it.
How are your families or friends dealing with that? Because 2 months, that's quite a thing. And it's not only one thing because after the tour is before the tour. So how are you dealing with that?
You can start, Trey.
It's never easy to leave your family or anything. It's, you know, you have to just have things to look forward to. Like we have our wives come out in the U.S. to spend time with us on tour and hang out in the bus and stuff. That helps a lot since we've been able to do that. Europe's hard because we're on opposite schedules and, you know, but yeah, we make it work. You just have to communicate well and have things to look forward to, but
yeah, everybody in the band is married, so everybody has, you know, their wives miss them and stuff. I'd say Europe, Australia, even more than Europe is hard because of the time difference. Because like right now, our wives are just now like been awake for a few hours, and are getting settled into their day. And by the time it's bedtime for us, it's like middle of the day for them. And they're like, I'm ready to talk. And you're like, well, it's 2 a.m.
That could be difficult.
I need to go to bed.
Sure.
Yeah, they kind of nailed it. That tends to be like, I'm an East Coaster, so by the time that my wife gets out of work and gets home, I'm just about ready to go to bed, and I'm pretty shot, so it's hard to have like a nice long conversation and be present, but we'll certainly try. But in the States, it's a lot easier because now, we'll take a bus and we have a few extra bunks, so we can have the girls come out anytime they want and just have them ride along with us, and they love it. Like, it's a really good feeling, like waking up and you go into the, main cabin and your wife's just kind of looking out the window with a cup of coffee and enjoying the ride, and feels like you're getting to do it together. So that's been a really cool change for us over the last 2 years.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Do you have any other musicians in your families? Maybe your wives or somebody playing in a band, or is it totally different?
I don't, but they do.
This Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal's a good singer. I wish she's just uncomfortable. So I wish she would do it more. She's really good with lyrics too.
Yeah.
I've even been like, you should help write some lyrics sometimes when I'm writing.
My wife Kate taught herself how to play guitar and piano and sing, and she's pretty good at everything.
Cool.
She's kind of quick learner.
She is.
Going off that, I do have. I'll call him out on the podcast. I wrote a song that I want him and his wife to sing on the record, because I think that it's like, I hear a girl voice on it, but I think that it would be cooler to have them do it than to just have some random person. Even though like we would pick an artist that we like, sometimes when you write something that really means something special, you want it to, hit home a little harder. And she is super talented, so it would be cool to get to experience like that. So yeah.
So when you are private, you also spend time together with the bandmates and your families, or how's that going?
Well, we live fairly far apart from each other. Like, we both live in Texas, but I'm like 5 hours from him.
Okay.
So
probably not.
Texas is really big. And he's in New Jersey, and then our other bandmate is in Los Angeles. So we really only see each other for band rehearsal before tours. Like, we'll fly out to, usually home base is... Well, nowadays we just fly to the first date of the tour. Yeah.
We rehearsed in Germany this time.
Yeah, so we see each other like maybe the week preceding the tour and get together, but that's our hangout time, kind of. And then the tour is hangout time.
And I think sometimes it even might be good having some time where you are not sitting on each other and staying in the same location. It's good to see each other for a while not.
We have a group chat. That's all you need. Yeah.
And it'll usually only take like a week or two before I start like calling Ryan at 8 a.m. just to talk to him about magic, because I'm like, all right, like I haven't seen Kirby in like 2 weeks, so I guess no, and then we start getting on it. So it is like you start to miss everybody and stuff, but that's part of what makes touring now like really great, is like, the distance makes the heart grow fonder sometimes, where we haven't had as much of a break on this cycle. We've definitely worked a lot the last 2 years trying to push this album, but it's been super rewarding. Like, we never headlined Europe before. So this year getting to do that has really helped, and I think next year we'll be back for a lot more festivals and stuff. So, this was one of those years or album cycles, I should say, where we just all really had to go in on it and play as much as possible, and every good opportunity we took it and we went for it. So the partners have a hard time every once in a while, but now we're trying to make the way that we tour a little bit easier on our partners. So it's gotten better, I'd say.
Cool. You talked about working, coming home, going to the office. Your band exists for, I think you've been founded 2007 or 8. That's what I read. So you know a lot about the business, and you know how to do things on your own. So how is it doing things on your own, such as booking or etc., managing, doing a tour, compared to nowadays? I guess you have a management, you have a label. Things might have changed during the last years. So how do you feel the difference, and what's the advantages, disadvantages?
I'd say there's nothing but advantages as far as booking. The only disadvantage is giving a commission, but they definitely earn it. Especially like having a booking agent is great. Booking your own shows back in the day is pretty bad. I mean, you guys know you're just begging, like, can we play for free, basically? And now there's a guy there that's like, no, pay them more money, and we don't have to be the bad guy. Yeah. So that's nice. And management, like, I'm still pretty hands-on with day-to-day stuff, but it's nice to have a different manager that goes and does, like, the dirty stuff, like applying for visas and going to yell at a promoter because we don't like a spot on something, because it's a lot different when we complain. Because it's like, if we complain, it's like, oh, that band's so full of themselves, they think. But if our manager goes and complains, he's just doing he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not personal.
Yeah, it's better if they leave where, like, he's a jerk. Yeah. Whereas if one of us does it, our band are full of jerks.
And I guess your music is personal for you, and for the manager, it's not that way. So he can do it on a more professional level and on a business level. Yeah, let's put it this way. Well,
yeah, like, there's been times we see something and we feel like that's not what we deserve, or we deserve, because part of being in a band too is knowing your value.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't deserve that time slot or that pay or whatever. And instead of me or Tuck or somebody going to the promoter to yell about it, it's better to have our manager go to the person and yell about
I agree.
it. Yeah. I mean, I would say in general, there are, like Ryan said, he does do some management stuff for, like, day to day, and that really helps because you want your band to be tied in enough where you know where every dollar is going.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands do discover one day, they're like, oh my God, where did all our money go? And they're like, well, maybe you should ask that like a couple years ago. You kind of haven't been paying attention. So that really helps a lot, and there's advantages in that. And we've both, like, we love the music industry. We love working in metalcore. We've done other projects and worked with other bands, and the advantages in that kind of growth comes too is, like, say, touring opportunities. You hear rumors and stuff like that. Like, now we can just call friends and be like, hey, like, I heard you got a thing going on, like, by the way, keep me in mind, like, and try to push stuff along, where the social aspect of the industry can be helpful too, and that's where it reflects on the negativities. So we try not to, you know, bitch about, well, actually, my band's bigger than your band, or my band should be on this slot and not that slot, and that's why you have that manager do those things.
Exactly.
Because then it allows your social relationships to stay positive and not people to think of your band negatively in those moments. Just because someone may hear that and be like, oh, well, why would you ever have to do that? But every once in a while, it's not that often, but sometimes there has to be a little bit of like strength behind decision
that's business.
making.
It's not only in the music business; it's also in the construction business. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
We're very lucky. I mean, the manager that we've been with for over 10 years.
Wow.
We love him. He knows everything about our band, and my recommendation for any young artist has always been, don't be with a manager that you don't trust giving your social security number to.
Yes.
You know, in the United States, that's your number one thing, where it's like they could steal your identity with that. They could do anything. And if you don't trust someone enough where you want to give them vital information about your life, definitely avoid them.
Absolutely. I totally agree when it comes to management activities. How about the creative activities? You often hear that there are labels that are pushing you to new record, that are trying to evolve into the creative process. How's that with you?
Our label is pretty hands-off as far as what we do. Obviously, I think if we started writing stuff that our fans absolutely hated, I think they'd say something. Which I think they have the right to. They're like, hey guys, we spent a lot of money. What are you guys writing in there? But they trust us to do what's best for our band, and they're very supportive. I'd say one of the biggest benefits of our label, they're not a major label, they're indie, so it's really easy to, if we have an idea or need something, to go straight to the owner or straight to the A&R, versus we have friends that are on larger labels, and there's I don't know if the term's the same in Europe, but like red tape. Where there's just like, all right, well, I got to ask our A&R, then our A&R has to go to the accounting department, then the owner has to approve it, then they have to and there's just like weeks and weeks of waiting to hear if you can approve a budget for like an EP.
And you have the idea and you want to get it out. Better yesterday than tomorrow.
Like there was a thing in our contract with our label, because things have changed a lot over the years with singles. And we're just like, well, we'd like to restructure it because they were like, we should put out more singles. I was like, well, our contract only moves forward with records.
Okay.
So we want to work out something with like, so there's a benefit to us for singles as well. So they worked with us on it because we're able to talk directly to the label and directly to the owner versus doing that with like bigger labels would probably be, and they just have so many other bands to worry about. They're just like, whatever.
So we've also come across this topic, releasing singles and not doing whole records. Since we are not signed, we have our own label and we're doing everything on our own basically right now. So we are releasing next week our new record, but we only do the physical thing. And when it comes to Spotify or digital, we do it every month a new single. So that's something which sounds a new strategy,
you gotta
but maybe
try
probably
new things.
good. Yeah. So how are you doing that? You were talking about a record, so you're doing the full thing at once, or are you also doing the single thing and then the records?
We've been releasing singles more often. I'd say we're still going to do like a full-length record next year because I believe our fans still enjoy it.
Yeah.
The way I think like part of the new contract, the way we did it is instead of like each single being its own thing, we make the record quote unquote 15 songs, but then only 11 go on the record and then the 4 are singles. So that gives us the flexibility to like still have, and we can record those singles at different times.
Yeah.
So it was just a way of like, because a lot of record deals are old and it's all about records. And I still love records, but it's like you have to accommodate singles and stuff too.
You can, like a lot of young bands now, when you're signing or negotiating with labels, you can negotiate for songs instead of albums. So like instead of 3 songs, sign for 3 albums, sign for 30 songs.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you could do EPs, you could do albums, you could do however you want in order to stretch that out, get through it as fast or as slow as you want. But it allows you the advantages that the label want, which is like to put out things frequently, but we need to have enough density in the release of the songs to be able to create physical media. And the EPs don't just tend to sell as well, so that's why they always push physical CDs, is because that full length and that vinyl, it makes sense for the cost, where it's like doing 7 inches all the time don't sell as well, and EPs don't sell as well. So if we can condense, at least say you do 30 songs, but we're just taking 10 of them, 5 and 5, it's 2 EPs, but we can take those 2 EPs, put them on 1 CD, and then press that onto a vinyl. That has more advantages for everyone.
Yeah, we've also been talking to labels about the song per song thing, not doing the full record deal. But in the end, it was like, you told us before, it was like, you have to talk to the manager, and the manager has to talk to the manager of the manager, and then it comes back to you. And then we came to a point where we said, okay, let's do it on our own. We are capable of doing it, and we just want to throw it out now. And we're still individual. That's it.
And I think being independent is good, but I do think some labels are good if you find a good balance with them. Because I'm not somebody that's like, all labels are bad. I know a lot of bands say that. I think some are bad, a lot are bad.
There's some awesome.
And there's some that are amazing, and their bands explode and do things they could never do without their label. So it's all about the right label, the right contract, and some of that is patience and being independent for a while until you find the right one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that that's just like, because we've only been signed to one label throughout our career. But throughout, being in the industry for a while, we've gotten to meet a lot of people, and, we don't speak that, like, for example, like one label I think is absolutely incredible is Pure Noise Records. The owner, Jake, just gives fantastic deals to young bands. They don't have to be the most famous bands or the most hype bands. He has to love their band.
Okay.
And I think that that's awesome. He's offering better contracts to most young bands than we received until years into our being a band. And he's doing that right out of the gate. So you just have to create something that engages. So I think that the good contracts just come with great music. If you're putting out great material, someone's going to be interested in you, and maybe
that's what every new band hopes. Absolutely,
yeah.
Nowadays, we're making the experience that labels want to sign bands that have already 1 million YouTube clicks or have already that many followers and so on, and then they say, okay. let's do that single together. Yeah, but they don't want to build up young bands, so that's what we're currently experiencing. But yeah, maybe it changes. Yeah, let's see. We will find the partner.
A joke we always tell ourselves in our TM and stuff. Anytime we are somewhere and we complain about, not like actually complain, daily things like, oh my God, look how far our green room is from the stage, and it's always, well, we should have wrote a better record. If they mean it. And we just tell ourselves that with everything. Like, I don't like that we play on the smaller stage. Well, write a better record and you'll play on the bigger stage. Because that's really the only thing you can control, is writing better music. So we always make the joke, well, if every solution is better music.
So how do you write music? As you've told us before, there's quite a distance between you. Who's writing and how do you do that?
You can talk on this one a little.
Historically, Bob, the other guitar player that doesn't actively tour with us, has been the main songwriter, and he usually writes kind of in tandem with the producer and everything. As of late, we've kind of been writing as a band more so, like as a whole, and or just, split off individually. Like, I'll work on a song idea that I have. Dan, our guitar player, is really good at production and music. He's like a producer in his own right, so he works on music too, and he'll work on songs, and we'll kind of just collab. Like, if, maybe I'll show Kirby something and he'll have a vocal idea, or be like, what if it was a little more like this? And so we'll work on stuff like that. In the bus in the US, we have a back lounge area that's just kind of like, I have accidentally kind of taken it over as like my writing lair. So
accidentally, okay, well.
Not trying to kick anyone out, but that's kind of like the jam space. So I work on a lot of music in there while on tour, and at home I have like a little home studio set up, so I do that as well. And I don't know, Tuck sent me an idea while we were home before this tour, and I kind of worked on that with him. And we've tried to write more as a band lately, and I think it's working out in really cool ways. It's been really refreshing, and like kind of, I guess, made us hone in on what resonates with us the most and what we like, and kind of helped to shape our identity moving forward. I think we have a lot better idea of like who we want to be, but y'all can.
Like, one of the things that we're doing moving forward is trying to make sure that everyone feels really included, where it's not just waiting for someone to start something and then contributing. It's like, hey, if you have a great idea, send it over. Everyone will listen to it. And if someone's inspired by it, we're going to work on it. And that has opened up how many ideas we're bringing into the band. And I mean, Trey alone has contributed 20 plus songs so far, and it's been a really nice experience. Like, I'll go at home. I have a friend of mine who has a really nice studio near my house, so I'll go to his house and we'll just work on music, and then I'll send it to the guys and see if they like it and connect with it and stuff like that. And every person in the band has the opportunity to do that, and that way we're bringing as many ideas as we can before the album, and hopefully it'll end up, like Kirby said, a better record,
That sounds very cooperative, but how about creative differences? One of you is very dedicated to one idea, and some other band member doesn't really like it. How do you deal with that?
I think it's, if a majority, I guess the way we've always kind of looked at it, if everybody doesn't like it, then how can we expect fans?
Yeah.
Like, if we're the source of it, and if all of us aren't feeling passionate about it, then there's clearly people that aren't near as involved and attached to our band that are going to feel the same way or more against it.
I think, like, the other thing is, you have so much time to make a record. Say, we have 2 years to make a record. You'll make enough things that you care about where some stuff will make it and some stuff won't. And there may be an idea that you really, really were passionate about that won't make it, but a different one that you were really passionate about will. And that should fill your cup enough where you're like, half full always, if you look at it that way. And I think that our band has found a really good balance with that, where we've gotten better at making sure everyone feels valued through the record where when they listen to it, they can pick moments that are like, yeah, that's me kicking ass. And that's awesome.
Sounds great.
I was gonna say, I think the goal, like for me while writing, is to make something that I feel stoked on and that resonates with me, but also that leaves room for my kind of red tape, so to speak, as Kirby, for him to get excited, because he ultimately has to like put the voice on the song. Yeah. And so like if he doesn't feel inspired, then I kind of failed in a way.
And also the audience won't feel inspired, because he cannot transport it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think I think I heard like Rick Rubin on a podcast say like the music is not for the audience. Like the music has to be like for you. Mm-hmm. You have to write it for yourself and like what makes you feel emotions and whatever, because like you can't ever predict. You can't ever try to think like, I think everyone will like this, because then it ends up resonating with no one. Whereas if you wrote something really authentic that heavily resonates with you, people can feel that, and it kind of translates out from there. But
yeah.
Talking about the audience, how do you stay connected? I think things have changed a lot during the last 10 years or so. How do you get new fans? How do you keep the old ones interested in your music?
I think it's probably going to be good to hear for a lot of people. Touring still helps make a lot of fans. When we toured with Motionless in White and I Prevail previous in 2022, so many fans at our shows are like, I saw you on Motionless in White, or I saw you on the I Prevail tour. Same with over in Europe when we toured with As I Lay Dying and Amity Affliction. Mm-hmm. So I think touring does still help bring in new fans a lot. As far as connecting with old fans, I think just like I stream on Twitch a decent amount, and fans show up to that. That's a good way. I think being personable, even if it's just a VIP, just like not just shaking a hand and getting on to the next person, but actually talking with them, sharing your interests, like
doing podcasts.
Yeah, doing podcasts. Me and Tuck share our interests all over the internet of magic. We've shared it on this podcast already. Yeah. And we have fans that'll show up to shows with magic cards for us or to sign for them. And
that's great.
It helps create like a bond that's not just the music.
Yeah, staying really active on socials can be difficult for some people, like especially at times you get mental exhaustion, but it's definitely been a key element. But I mean, even, during other times, I've been less active about it. But like I used to have my own podcast. There's like 72 episodes out or something of me rambling about music with my friends. And that kind of stuff has helped a lot to engage. And it also comes with just like keeping up with music, like listening to new bands, talking about new bands. One of the best things that I think will, engage with other fans is like yesterday, or the day before, tweeting a video of Gutalax with a porta potty in the air, being like, oh my God, this band is insane.
Great.
And, just trying to share like worldwide music, like it's always about the music. And I think that is a key factor for us, is like just kind of staying in touch as much as we can, if, looking at it in a more like direct sense, like, you can't wake up one day and be like, man, I don't know any current bands anymore. I don't really know what's going on. Like, I think one thing that helps us with building tours and staying active out here is listening to new artists and still trying to fall in love with them. You know what I mean? Like, one I've mentioned in a few interviews, but like a newer band that I'm like insanely obsessed with is Paleface Swiss. Like, I think like they're fucking insane and so good. And just trying to stay engaged that way as much as you can.
Okay, so I think time's over. I could go on talking and talking. It was a really, really great interview. It was really nice meeting you. The thing you just told us is the reason why we're doing that podcast, just get into interaction with other musicians.
Yeah, that's great. It's honestly
I had a
very
great time, absolutely.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much.
So this was the Nova Rock podcast, Fit for a King.
Yes.
Live on stage today at the Red Bull stage. Looking forward to you. And hello and goodbye from Cil City.